I have some questions about my marriage. I am currently separated. And the first question I have is about, it's hard. Like, I feel like a couple of the other people here today, just, formulating the questions is kind of hard, but I'm just going to blurt it out, and I know you'll help me.
We'll blurt it back.
You'll blurt it right back. Thank you. I've never had both feet in my relationship with my husband, and I have believed that the reason why is because of I've just seen so many examples of times that he's been out of alignment that have just felt, that have just cut me to the quick. They just felt like. In the beginning, it wasn't that I took any of it personally. It just felt like it was off, and I didn't know anything about the law of attraction or anything. I just was like, I just noticed my feelings and think, wow, this just doesn't feel right for me. But I'd let it go, and I would just go back to loving, and I'd appreciating our relationship, and then I'd see another. I'm going to call it a blip, and I'd see blip and blip. The blips just kept coming more often as I really do feel he got more and more out of alignment, and until they finally became bleeps, and I just couldn't ignore them anymore. And so part of my question is, I understand that if you focus more on the appreciation and like all of the good, and there's so much good with him, it just brings me to tears thinking about how much I love him and appreciate him. Yet the blips became such bleeps, and I just couldn't live that way anymore. And I know that's...
So let us translate this back to you, and with no intention of establishing any wrongdoing, just an observation from inside the vortex. So we're just going to translate what you said into other words that are more descriptive.
Bleep and blurp and all that aren't quite enough. I'm just teasing.
Well, you made a good point with all of them, and everyone understands what you mean, and we do too. But what you're actually saying is, I am like so many people. I am primarily an observer. I offer most of my vibration because I observe. And when I observe something that makes me feel good, I feel good. And when I observe something that makes me feel bad, I feel bad. Therefore, the people who are primary in my life, I sort of hold responsible for how I feel. Now, you tried to present it in a way that explained that, and we get it, that you were really trying to hang in there. That you were trying to make the best of situations that were not that good. And we are not suggesting that you might not have an easier time of it somewhere else. But we will also say in an emphatic way to you, because of the powerful desire that you have for this relationship, and because of the amount of time that you spent together building your vibrational escrow, that you have a much greater probability of coming into alignment with who you really are inside that relationship than you do outside of it. Now, that's a strong statement. And what we're saying to you is, you can come into alignment. We know that you can get into the vortex whether you go off into the sunset and never spend time with this person again. But because of so much of your life and so much of what you've contributed to your vibrational reality having happened inside that relationship, when you come into alignment with you, the satisfaction is going to be greater than if you just close that door and walk off and try to open another door. And what we really want to say to you, and we want you to help us say it to many others, is that you really can get into your vortex regardless of what someone else is doing. Someone out of the vortex does not have to take you out. you can get so good at being in there and so good at seeing the world through the eyes of Source that you can maintain your balance regardless of what someone else is doing. And that, in fact, as we said earlier, is the epitome of what unconditional love is. Most people are saying, this condition feels good, let's keep it up, and this condition feels bad, let's get rid of it. And what you come to realize is that you cannot control the uncontrollable. And so when you stop trying to control the uncontrollable and instead you control the only thing you can control, which is your own relationship with the vortex, then you can get in there, you can be predominantly in there, you can occasionally go out for some exercise in step 1, which only causes you to expand further. So talk to us, if you want to, about what these blips and bleeps were about. In other words, what was happening that was...
Well, I think it was a couple of things. One, I take responsibility for the fact that I know some of the beliefs were my beliefs. I mean, that I really... His beliefs...
Well, never mind the beliefs. What happened?
Okay, all right. Like, he's very analytical and intense and controlling, and I just felt it like it was an oppressive environment. I understand that I'm responsible for my experience. I also,
but can you see that when you get inside the vortex? Now, let's say that you focus wheeled your way in. And now, and we'll do a focus wheel or two if you want to before we finish here.
Okay.
So you're in the vortex, and from inside the vortex, you're in that place where your appreciation of him is dominantly vibrating within you. But let's say he's like so many people. You see, when someone behaves that way, it's because they have lived so much life and they have expanded so far and they have not allowed themselves to keep up with who they really are. Mm-hmm. And living with someone like you who's making an effort and doing a pretty good job of keeping up with who you are only intensifies your awareness that you're not. And so it is our promise to you that in the display of being outside the vortex, that is just amplification of his desire to be in alignment. While he might not use those words, being in alignment is what he wanted, but he is like so many people, believing that before he can be in alignment, he has to control all of those uncontrollable things. And he found them all to be uncontrollable. And here you are, up close to him, caring about how he feels, and you seemed to be at least one thing that was somewhat controllable. So his desire to control all of those uncontrollable things was sort of focused upon controlling the only thing that he had any hope of controlling. And so that's why it was felt extra oppressive to you. Understanding that softens your feeling of resistance a bit. Now, we know it didn't make it any easier to take, but we really want to project this to all of you in a way that you can hear it. So someone's outside the vortex, and let's just leave it at that for now. He was outside of the vortex and out there a lot, wanting to control the uncontrollable and not able to. Often in that place of disempowerment to rage, disempowerment to anger. Disempowerment was the vibrational range that he spent so much time in. So there he is, feeling disempowered, and his inner being calling him this way. So it's calling him right into anger and right into resentment, right into revenge, right into those things that all feel strong if you're up close to them. And here you are. Now, as you are in the vicinity of someone who's like that, if you're outside the vortex, then you are a vibrational match to all of the things that he is feeling. In other words, so you become the target. But if you could, even under those conditions, and we know it's hard, if you could, just like the woman with arthritis in her hip, she's got pain in her body, but could feel hope rather than fear. Well, you could have this uncomfortable relationship exploding around you, but you could have hope rather than despair. And especially during the time that you're not together, or during the time that he's sleeping, or during the time that you're off on your own, during the time that you are having your own private thoughts, that's the time to do this work. So and we can feel that you want to, because when you now that you're away from him a bit, now that it's not so in your face, now you're having much more opportunity and doing a much better job of finding the aspects about him that you are most appreciating.
Yeah.
So the question, we want to put some questions to you. Okay. Do you believe that when you are, or if you are able to be, and when you are inside the vortex, and you hold him or anyone as your object of attention, do you believe that that would mean that it would automatically bring that person into the vortex?
I'm not quite understanding.
If you're in the vortex, and from your tuned in, tapped in, turned on, completely imbued with source stance, if you're holding someone as your object of attention, do you think it would bring them into the vortex?
Yes.
It doesn't. What it does is, because it's the same way that we say here in this room, so here you are, many of you, with things that you want to talk about, and we see you based upon two factors: the degree of your desire and your proximity to the vortex. In other words, that's what makes you light up and let us know that we're going to have somewhat of a meaningful conversation here. If you're very far from your vortex, we could talk all day, and we're really good. And we will not necessarily bring you into the vortex. So the answer to the question, if I'm in the vortex and someone else isn't, and I focus upon them from inside the vortex, will that automatically bring them in? The answer to that question is no. Right. But here's an even more important question. If I'm in the vortex and someone I really care about isn't, if I'm in the vortex, will I suffer about them not being in the vortex?
Right.
No, you won't suffer, because you'll be able to see through the eyes of source. In other words, that's where you get your unconditional love. That's where you get your resiliency, your sea legs. So, but here's the thing. If you think, and a lot of people do, if I do this work, I'll be able to fix those who are broken. I'll be able to heal those who are sick. I'll be able to solve all their problems. And then you get feeling disappointed because you focused your heart out, you really try hard, and yet you could not affect any lasting change in the other. And we want you to understand your vortex is about you. Now, there's something else that we really want you to know, and this is at the heart of the dissension that you've been feeling there. And we think it will click into place for you as you hear it, and we know that it will make a difference in your relationship as you are able to digest it. When you are working to be in the vortex, as you do, and when you get there, as you often do, when you're out of the vortex, you feel extra awful. We know it's a disclaimer we should have given before we roped you into all of this, but you can't go back. Once you consciously know about aligning with who you are, you're never going to be even a little bit satisfied in not being in alignment with who you are. So, what happened? The reason things got more intense for the two of you is not because he got more and more increasingly out of the vortex. It's because your standards about being in the vortex changed. In other words, once you get in, it feels awful to be out, and you didn't mean to do it, but you kept holding him responsible for you not being in the vortex. You try to cover it up with bleeps and blurps and all that kind of sweet stuff, but you started feeling resentful that he was keeping you out of the vortex. And we want to say to you, not only was he not keeping you out of the vortex, he was responsible for a whole bunch of your expansion that you put in your vortex, you see. Now, here's the part that's really interesting. At least it will make sense to you since you've been living it. Every time you got in that resentful mode that you'd been dragged out of your vortex, that's when he really got upset, because nothing is more unsettling to him than to be made to feel responsible for how somebody else feels, because that's more of that uncontrollable stuff that he's trying to control. Are you seeing how it all fits together? So, whether you spend time with him again, whether you go back and try to renew your experience with him, this relationship, as all relationship, It's an eternal relationship. In other words, and the reason it is eternal is because a large part of the expanded version of you that's in your vortex of creation is as a result of the time you spent with him.
Yeah.
So you've got to clean it up. You've got to clean it up or you can't be who you are. Many people say, well, I'll just walk away from this bleeping person who is so much trouble and brings me so much grief. I will just walk away. And we say, no, you won't. Yeah, I moved to the other side of the continent.